Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the co-feature on closing day Thursday at Kentucky Downs is race number 8. Let's take a look at the field for the $250,000 Franklin-Simpson Stakes for 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs on the turf. It's a fairly wide open race. I'm interested in your thought. I found an interesting post position stat.
Okay.
7 furlongs at Kentucky Downs going back many years. The inside 4 post positions are a combined 4 for 104.
Not good. And that's not a small sample size either. That's something to actually sink your teeth into. I don't know if it's something. I just don't know that I want to. If I put it this way, if I really like the horse on the inside, I don't know that it's enough for me to completely get off, but I think it is something that you have to consider.
No, that's a fair enough point to be sure. This is a race where you've got a couple of horses dropping in class, a couple of horses stepping up, still trying to find themselves among the 3-year-old stakes ranks. Let's look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector, and I agree that the number 2 Major Munnings is going to be on the lead. Heck, in 2 lifetime starts, he has yet to be headed. I'm not sure that blue bar I agree with, favoring horses on or near the early lead, which indicates a slow to moderate pace. I think there'll be at least some hitting early.
Yeah, especially when you just want to, let's talk about the inside posts anyway. The inside 3, they all have some speed. Now, maybe they don't have the speed that the 2 does. I agree with you. Major Munnings, I assume he's going to be on the lead, but he's the kind of horse that, okay, he is the highest last out buyer in the field, but he's going to stretch out from 5.5 to 7. He's going to face legitimate runners for the first time in his life. And you know what? I guess there's just a part of me that says if he beats me, he beats me. I won't be too broken up about it.
I feel the same way. I was very torn about making him my top selection, and I almost did. I just have a feeling that maybe he's sort of a wise guy horse because you know everybody likes ones.
Sure.
That's all this horse has on paper. And for all the reasons you mentioned, stretching out to 7 for the first time, racing over the Kentucky Downs turf course for the first time against better horses, maybe at a shortish price. I think 9-2 might be a little bit short that he is on the morning line. I would use him perhaps underneath, but I would also use him in multiple race wagers. Secretary at War gets some class relief, gets some distance relief. In his last 3 starts, he has faced some of the better 3-year-old turf horses in the country, including the leader, Oscar Performance.
He has. I'm not sold on this horse. I know a lot of people really like him, and you know what? I'm not suggesting that he's impossible in here. I just look at him and say his 2 wins have both come outright on the lead when he's been able to go out there and set soft paces. He's not going to be able to do that. 1, if he makes the lead, he's going too fast, I think. And 2, if he does finally clear off, he's going to have to hold on to keep the closers at bay. There's too many things about this horse that I don't like. He's a name. He has high-profile connections. I don't want him.
Talking about Oscar Performance, the number 9 Sonic Boom could very well be the horse to beat. He won the American Derby 2 starts back at 9 furlongs in gate-to-wire fashion. Wasn't thrilled with the field he beat that day, and then was just a little bit overmatched when he provided Oscar Performance as a target in the Secretariat going 1.25 miles. What do you think of him cutting all the way back to 7?
The only good thing is he's proven over the Kentucky Downs turf course going 6 furlongs. I know it was only in his 2nd lifetime start. It is a big turn back going from 10 to 7. But again, when we talked about it a little bit with this odd configuration, I feel like the distances play a little bit longer simply because they're going to start going uphill and then going down. 7/8 of a mile, generally, I think it would be a sharp turn back. Here, I'm going to assume it's closer to a mile.
Fits very well from a class standpoint, has shown the ability to come from off the pace, despite the fact that he has been on the lead in longer distance races recently. Julien Leparoux takes them out. There's a lot to like about the 9 Sonic Boom at 3-1 on the line. There's a lot to like about anything Michael Maker seems to throw out at Kentucky Downs. He has the 5 Kitten's Cat, and I think you and I have always liked Kitten's Cat at these sprinty distances. Nothing more than a mile for Kitten's Cat, and last time out I won't hold that race against him. It was over a synthetic track. This is what he wants to do, sprint on the turf. My main issue with Kitten's Cat is that he just hasn't gotten much better since he was a 2-year-old.
Yeah, that's a problem. He hasn't taken that step forward, but I agree with you. The problem is he hasn't been allowed to sprint on turf very often. They've been trying him against better horses, and I understand why. That's where the money is. I think this is kind of what he wants. I think he is going to be a sprinter ultimately, and if it doesn't work here, you've always got Santa Anita, you've always got Belmont. You have options with this horse. I think he's nice.
Here's the formulator fact for Michael Maker's Kitten's Cat. Past 3 years, 3-year-olds going from synthetic to turf for minor layoff, 33%, a $3.83 return on investment. Who knew when All Right was running 4th in an optional claimer on June the 30th that he would be facing a subsequent multiple Derby winner in Chief Know-It-All, who shipped to Western Canada, won the Canadian Derby, won the British Columbia Derby, listed as a first-time gelding for the first time. All Right, speed horse, though?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to be forwardly placed. He needs to improve by leaps and bounds, and I understand he won here last year. The problem is Keep in mind, that meet last year at Kentucky Downs, you needed to be forwardly placed. He was there. I think that's why he won at 44-1.
He's Benefactor, the number 3, sort of lurking under the radar for Maker. Blinkers on here. This horse was only beaten 2 lengths by Hieroglyphics, who came back to win the restricted Better Talk Now for Todd Pletcher at Saratoga with an 88 Beyer speed figure. His only lifetime win, though, came on dirt.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a concern, but at the same time, I don't think this horse is impossible. The problem I have is I don't know what kind of trip he's going to work out. He seems to do his best running when he's forward. With the other speed that's drawn just to his inside, and you've got a couple other speed horses toward the outside, I just don't know that he's got enough early speed, and I don't know for sure that he can sit and then make a move.
The 7 Siem Reap won his first 2 turf starts. He's got a really beautiful pedigree, and could you make the argument last time on the Mystic Lake Derby, didn't really care for that sort of wet turf course?
This is the kind of horse that I think you need to make the decision what you think. I'm of the opinion that it was him trying to come from off the pace that he didn't love. I understand maybe, you know, again, if you don't think he liked the yielding turf course, that's entirely up to you. I think he needs the lead, and I don't think he's going to get it.
Let's take a look at our top picks for a very competitive edition of the Franklin-Simpson Stakes. You like the 8 Holiday Stone, who really should get a nice setup with the speeds in here, and he's drawn outside. Florent Giroux takes them out for a good trainer in George Weaver.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a beautiful trip in here. I don't know if he's quite good enough. He's very similar, in my opinion anyway, to Kitten's Cat, where he hasn't taken that big step forward from 2 to 3. I think he's just kind of run his race. But second off the bench for Weaver, this is a positive move, and I thought he ran very well in the Better Talk Now. Hieroglyphics won that day, but Hieroglyphics was the one that was down on the inside, kind of in the pocket position. And this horse with Luis Saez up that day kind of had to make the move first. He flattened out a little bit down the lane. I know I said earlier that I feel like the 7/8 down there at Kentucky Downs probably plays closer to a mile. It's still a bit of a turn back, going back from what he's going to be doing up at Saratoga. I just think he's interesting in here, and I think there's a scenario he goes off in that 6, 7, 8 to 1 range.
I don't have a ton of confidence in this race. The 4 Master Marion, after his first 5 starts, you could look at him and say, boy, he is a money burner. He doesn't want to beat you. But then looking back, he was in against Made You Look. He was in against 5th Title. White Flag just recently won a stakes race at Belmont. His last 2 races have shown maybe that the light's gone on, and he understands that he's not a pack animal, that he's supposed to win races, especially last time out at Del Mar. It wasn't the strongest field in the world at a mile, but that was the race turning into the stretch where you got the feeling the old Master Marion would have found a way to lose. And he still was able to dig in and win. He is among the faster horses in this race. He has shown the ability to sit from off of the pace. Is he this good? Have I been fooled by him winning his first 2? Is he a different horse? These are questions I need to answer at 6 to 1, and I'm not sure I'm getting it.
Yeah, price-wise, that's going to be the ultimate thing for this horse because he's got the figs. If I'm looking at him saying, I like him on top, I want to be kind of putting all my eggs in the race 2 back, where he's going to sit from off the pace, where he got some hot fractions to run at, and he was able to close. I know he dug in gamely in that Del Mar race, and I'm not holding that against him. It's just, I don't think that kind of trip is going to come to him. I think he's going to have to sit and be good enough. I got to be honest with you, based on what he's done recently, I can't say that he's not good enough. I just don't know that he's going to get the value.
Give me numbers.
I went 8, 5, 9, 4.
What post position bias? 4, 2, 3, 1 for me in the $250,000 Franklin-Simpson Stakes. Race number 8 at Kentucky Downs on Thursday has an approximate post time of 4:46 Central. Best of luck.